Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, John Rayleigh. Our campaign is Massive Nyarlathotep. It was written by Larry DiTilio, Lynn Willis, Mike Mason, Lynn Hardy, Paul Fricker, and Scott Dorwin, and it's available from Chaosium. Our game master is Morgan Llewellyn, and this is episode 36. Our recap will be given by Brian Daly as his character, George Charles. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Brian?
Hello, Chaplain. I survived the underground exploration. We managed to rescue Dodge and some other unfortunates, or what's left of them. The sheer size and scope of the underground ruins are only dwarfed by the conspiracy old Frederick found himself in. You remember him, right? We were arriving back from a hunting trip. Poor kid. Still haven't been able to find hide nor hair of him. Given the horrors I've seen on this expedition, I'm hoping he is resting peacefully. Of the group that went down into that pit, only Dodge, myself, and Turtleton made it out alive. The other three men with us met varyingly gruesome demises, but we were mostly successful. Several cultists were put out of commission, and the leader in the region was killed. Whether or not he'll stay dead is another matter entirely. Turtleton and I will start heading to China. There is unfortunately a short amount of time we have to foil these plots, and I'll fill you in more when we meet. I'll let you know where we head to next by means of a private letter, encrypted in the usual manner, at the closest embassy to the harbor. On a more uplifting note, I have some dynamite left over, and we'll be engaging in some explosive fishing once we're in international waters. Before you complain, my federal friend, it's not a felony if it's outside of U.S. territory. I hope you catch up to us soon, and new friendly face would be quite the blessing. Yours, George.
All right, so getting the people that you rescued from the underground city situated as best you can, and you got on board a ship, and summer storms have delayed your progress, so after 21 days at sea, you finally managed to make it into the port of Shanghai. When you arrive, you have to go through customs, and they confiscate all of your weapons. So any firearms that you have with you, they take.
Is it because it's against the law to have them?
It's it's illegal to have them here without a permit.
Is there a place where we can get the permit?
Yes, you can. You can buy permits from them, but they still don't want you bringing your guns inside. They are.
Well, Mr. Charles, we'll have to just get more.
That shouldn't be too much of an issue.
With the
enemies
we've been coming up against, I'm not sure guns do that much good, but
not too. It's a nice piece. It's nice to have peace of mind, you know.
It's true.
Don't they? I'm pretty sure they make knockoff 1911s around here.
We should be able to find something once we're through. There might be some angry cactuses around that I need to take care of.
Right.
Well, you can both give me psychology rolls.
I think I can guess without the psychology roll. They want money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't pass that.
Well, you said it when you buy the permit and you give them the exact amount, that kind of like raise their eyes a little, like their eyebrows go up a little bit. But they'll give you the permits.
All right. Well, we take the permits. Shysters.
And they let you know that you can collect your firearms when you leave.
When we leave. as if they keep them all in neat little numbered boxes waiting for us. Somehow I doubt that.
Right.
And with that, they let you go into the city proper. And this Shanghai is quite a sprawling affair. It has the tallest buildings are all tenements, like apartments, and between them there's all manner of buildings of different construction. Some of them are little wooden things that are pretty run down. Other of them are nicer, newer construction. So there's this odd mixture of rich, opulent buildings and these cheap tenements and run-down places. On the streets, you have people in simple, like farmers' clothing. You have people in suits. There are cars. There are horse-drawn carts. There's all like this blend of things going on. Very busy place. Lots of people moving about. And nobody, everybody's going every which way. Nobody's really paying much attention to you. Welcome to Shanghai.
I believe that the Prospero lawyer said that we need to go to the French Quarter. I wonder do we get a rickshaw? Have them take us to the French Quarter?
Yeah.
Why would we need a rich Shaw? I don't know anyone named Shaw.
This thing here, you see this man here? Oh, there he goes. That's a rickshaw. It's like a taxi, but there's no horse.
You're saying Rick Shaw.
Rickshaw.
Still don't know anyone named Shaw, but all right, we'll keep an eye out for a Rick.
I believe the man who's pulling the cart.
I thought the notice we got from that lawyer guy was saying we were looking for Edwards.
Oh, we're looking for the Edward. I'm sorry, I've confused you. Let's. I don't know. What do you yell? Do you yell taxi? No, probably rickshaw.
Give me a Mandarin.
Oh, Mandarin. I would know, wouldn't I? Oh, 8.
Yeah, so you easily managed to get somebody over. They're very shocked to see. They're delightfully surprised. They're like, where do you want to go? And anyway, so they take you off, and so you kind of leave the river, and you start heading out towards the French Quarter.
It's a matter of balance, you see. With the large wheels on the sides, even with our weight in here, he's able to pull us rather easily. Of course, if he lets go, we're going to flip over backwards, I believe.
Well, that could be fun.
And as you kind of enter this area, the number of buildings goes down. These are more like estates. So these large walled complexes kind of take over the cityscape instead of these large kind of city sprawl. And you're taken to kind of this little house on the corner that kind of has this walled garden. Very nice, kind of serene, and that's where he leaves you.
And I thank the man.
Thanks.
And I pay him.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks, Rick.
He goes off.
I believe this is the place we're supposed to be.
As you start walking up towards the door, there's an open window, and you can hear the sound of a typewriter just tapping away. And as you knock on the door, you hear a dog bark. Start barking.
Sounds like a big dog.
God damn it, another paper jam.
Gabriel, can you go and open the door for me? Your dog is there.
Yeah, sorry about that. Achilles, heel.
I
think our guests are here, Sydney.
Konnichiwa.
Are you Mr. Edwards? Or Mr. McCormick?
I'm his identical twin brother, so yeah, you're pretty.
Well, I didn't want to be presumptuous. I wanted simply
Yeah,
to.
no, I'm nobody's brother, Gabriel, if you like.
Excellent.
Mr. Edwards, I'm guessing you mean the older. He's upstairs. Sydney's making some tea. Would you like some?
Oh, please. Yes. It's been a long trip.
Well, come on in.
This is Mr. Charles here.
Pleasure to meet you.
Charles.
Wish it was
This is Achilles.
under better circumstances. He's a big one, ain't he?
Oh yeah.
What
he's
breed?
got
Very
a
big
lot
dog.
of troubles before, mate.
What kind of dog is he?
He's a Tibetan Mastiff.
Tibetan Mastiff. My goodness.
I'll tell you how I got him, but it's classified.
It's classified. Well,
Sydney, Gabriel, who is it down there?
It's our
It's,
guest, Father.
It's that George Charles and Mandrake Turtleton, the one the lawyers told us about.
Oh, they're here already. Oh, I'll come right down.
Hey, Sydney, is
Already?
that tea ready?
Took us a week longer.
Oh, yes, I was making tea. Yeah, I'll get on that. Yes.
I'll take mine
this-
Irish. How about you, gentlemen?
oh, a little bit of the Irish in the tea would be lovely. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, there's gonna be Irish teas all around Sydney.
Oh,
Well,
sure.
Sorry,
What-
Mr.
what's-
McCormick, what was
what's
that?
Irish in the
Tea?
tea?
Yes, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Mandrake. Mandrake. What's Irish in the tea?
Whiskey. Whiskey in the coffee.
Well, that could play interestingly with the tannins. All right, fine.
Well, it depends on which kind of whiskey they use. If they use Bushnells, then the Irish.
So I'll probably
Very nice.
I'll probably lead them into
Yeah, so
whatever form
so
we
the
have, like a
building,
sitting room.
yeah, the building is not terribly big compared to everywhere else in this kind of place, but it is nice. It's in good repair. There are stacks of books and newspapers scattered about. It's nice enough, and outside it starts to rain.
You must be Mandrake.
Oh, yes, Mr. Edwards. How very nice to meet you.
Did you and George?
Yep, that's me.
You knew Elias Jackson?
Oh, yes, fairly. Oh, well, I didn't know him, actually.
Nope, never met the guy.
I came into this venture through Mr. Henry Armitage at the Miskatonic University. So we're sort of loosely attached to the people that were attached to Mr. Elias. Mr. Octavius Fox, who was a great patron of Jackson's.
Heard that name before.
Yes.
Never.
After we have some coffee and tea, we have a lot to go over.
Don't mind me asking, since me, Sydney, and Sterling are now wrapped up in all this, how many people have you exactly lost?
Oh, geez, 14?
Dear God.
Because if you're going to do a job, do it right.
We are up against, well, as you know from Jackson Elias's work, we're dealing with murder cults. And they don't call them murder cults because they
I think we're a little beyond murder cults.
Yeah, these people are horrible. And we are slowly but surely trying to bring them all down.
That's partly why Sydney came ahead here, my son, to start laying some groundwork for researching about it. There's some notes indicating that this area here around Shanghai might be involved somehow.
It most definitely is. We've got some stories to tell you. Might take us a few days to go over the material that some of it won't be even believable by you, but once you are involved with us, it will become believable and deadly.
Well,
So you have a
Francis,
chance now if you want to back out, but the world is at
No,
stake, my friends.
my brother was the only family I had left, so I'm definitely going to be sticking around to make sure his
It was
doesn't go.
extremely heroic.
Yeah, that sounds like him. Heroic or idiotic, take your pick.
Jackson was Sydney and mine, well, our family's good friend. We heard of Fox and some others he went to earlier, but we want to get to the bottom of this.
Well, if we are
I've been
to
spending the last couple of weeks trying to. Francis told me there was one of the original party was sighted here in Shanghai. I've been trying to track down anything I can find. So far, I've had no luck. But
That would
Jack
be-
Brady.
Brady, yes. I don't know where
under a
to.
different name.
I don't know where to begin, but perhaps, as you say, you want to get to the bottom of it. Let's start at the bottom and work our way backwards. There is an entity. I don't know any other way to put it. A malevolent spirit, if you will. It has existed since the beginning of time, and it has always been a creature of mischief.
Is it
Chaos.
wise to say that thing's name or any
I
of its
guess-
monikers?
I suppose we'll be careful or cautious. I think you actually have to invoke it rather severely to get it to show up. But in any case, it has been hounding us along the way. It's probably mostly responsible for the deaths of all of the people involved in one way or another. This cult is built up around this thing. It goes by multiple names in multiple countries. It wears different masks, if you will, depending on where you are. And it has something planned. It has something planned for next January 12th, 14th, 12th.
What's the
14th.
date
14th.
now?
It
What's
is
that?
July 5th.
Okay, so we got
6
some
months.
questions.
It has something planned for that day, and it has been planned for that day for 5,000 years. There are places in Egypt that have the plans written on the walls, though I wasn't there. We weren't able to, we don't have a record of them or what they said, but there was actually a map, and one of the places on the map was Shanghai.
Right.
So
Do
why
we have
are
a
here?
location on that temple?
I'm not sure. I don't think we do here, but we have our
Maybe.
leads.
Make education checks, the both of you. Not all of you. Just
Okay.
37 education.
Yeah.
Yes,
This is
that
servant.
is.
Nope.
I got a regular, but if I spend 2 luck, it'll be a hard.
Regular is perfectly fine.
Okay.
As far you're trying to think of leads. In all of your talk with Robert Houston, he mentioned this is kind of in notes of things that you discovered in his place and from his conversations to you. He mentioned a place called Gray Dragon Island,
That's right.
and then also way back in New York, from the documents you got from the people who passed before you, there was a little matchbook from the Stumbling Tiger Bar, and there was a photograph of a ship.
Photo of a ship.
Would I know where that bar was?
It wouldn't be difficult to find.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Sorry about this.
It's on
Sydney's
Lantern
forgotten-
Street, just so you know.
Sydney's forgotten to do the tea again. He's not exactly always present. I'll go and take care of that, and I'll be right back.
So
Thanks, Gabriel.
what our mission is is to find the heart of this cult and to stomp it out. And we don't know whether this is going to prevent what's going to happen in January, but it might slow it down. Slowing it down might be all that we can do. It's
Or we just sneak in, do your clock thing, and get out.
I have a theory that they need to synchronize their timing. So we've already found one clock and just set it ahead 15 minutes. We're hoping to find other clocks and set them backwards 15 minutes.
Yeah,
and then perhaps
nautical
their magic won't synchronize.
Yeah,
Here's
a nautical
the,
chronometer.
Here's the tea, gentlemen. Sterling, you're taking yours Irish as well?
Yo, yes. You know me well, Gabriel. Thanks.
Is everything all right with Sydney? Or is he just distracted?
He obsessively takes notes, that kid.
He's a good researcher.
That's not a bad idea.
Very good researcher, he is.
This, and I point at the thing that says the Stumbling Tiger Bus. That's on Lantern Street. We can go have a look at it if you want.
Then we need to find
Been
where
in
this Grey Dragon Island is.
Grey Dragon Island.
I don't know.
Sydney suddenly comes in.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Father, and Gabriel. Oh, Mr. Turtleton and Charles, I presume? Oh, shit, for tea.
It's all right, I've done it, mate. It's okay.
Okay, no,
It's pleasant. Thanks.
Okay. I have actually, in my studies here, I've been collecting some newspapers, and I actually have something that might be of interest to all of us.
Wonderful.
In regards. Yes. So I present.
So, it was the mention of where the Stumbling Tiger bar was that reminded you of these clippings that you've been collecting.
So, violent incident on Lantern Street. Police report murders at premises at 88 Lantern Street. Sometime after midnight last night, the victims were identified as Miss Reparita Wong, resident at the address, and Mr. Chin Si Chow, whose address was unavailable at the time of publication. Lantern Street habitués, normally not noted for compassion, were taken aback by the cruelty of the crimes. One witness was so distraught that she identified the killer as a giant bat. Police Inspector Chong indicates that the slaying were unusually violent. He requests anyone with knowledge, either of Miss Wong or Mr. Chin, to make themselves known to his inquiry.
So this was from about a week ago. This was from about 2 weeks ago.
Seaman's Club damaged. A portion of the Seaman's Club was destroyed late last night. Inspectors report considerable damage to the riverside of the institution in excess of £8,000 sterling. According to underwriters, no inquiry or loss of life is reported. According to unconfirmed, though informed speculation, seepage undermined a portion of the embankment area upon which the club stands, causing the collapse. Revelers from nearby taverns who were congregating along the riverbank at the time of the incident swear that strange creatures emerged from the water shortly before the building came down. The revelers' stories, while far-fetched, were a momentary relief to the risky business of sorting through the rubble.
All right, and this one was from 4 weeks ago.
Fire on Chin Ling Road. 3 monks have been found dead in a pavilion fire at the Garden of the Purple Clouds of Autumn. They are thought to have died due to an overturned brazier. The names of the deceased have not yet been released, but a reliable source indicates that all 3 were respected scholars of Tiang 5 dynasties and Sung literature. Their deaths are a profound loss to all who value China's great heritage. Eyewitnesses remarked that the evening fire leapt in an uncanny fashion from one blazing structure to chase the fleeing monks into the second pavilion. A floating cloud of fire followed them. According to Mr. Lucende of Brilliant Poppy Lane, a European was seen leaving the vicinity of the conflagration. Police respectfully asked for this individual to come forward and give his assistance in their investigation.
And this last thing was just...
The stars are right. Do not allow dark fate to overwhelm you. Worry not that evil rivals seem to possess secret knowledge that you lack. The answer is in the stars. Consult the heavenly stem and the earthly branch to peer behind the mask and uncover what is lost. A most auspicious future is guaranteed. Contact Shanghai's famous astrologer, Mr. Lung, 129 Kaoyang Street. No appointment necessary.
I wonder if that astrologer has some special insight to any of this.
Jeez,
All three of
talk
those
about
other
information
stories seem...
dump. God.
Sorry, it all just came back to me. I was overhearing the conversation. You know how I get in my little dazes.
Yeah.
I can still hear it. And I just was like, there you go.
It's a good prompt for George and I to go over with them all of the incidents that have taken place since the beginning, the ones that we were involved with and the ones before we were involved, and how the three incidents sound like the exact kind of thing we're looking for. Fire jumping from place to place, a bat demon, and things coming out of the water. This is very likely not just the people hallucinating. There is something horrible going on here.
What fascinating stories, Mandrake.
Yes, it's
You
interesting.
seem connected.
If they
What's
weren't true,
what
they
do you
would be
think's our
fascinating.
next step then, Mandrake? Do we go to some of these locations in these articles and sniff around, or?
I suppose it doesn't matter which one we do first. Mr. Lung, the astrologer, I'm not sure I'd place any great value on that. However, he might be able to give us insight into the lore of the area, if you will.
Yes.
We could always split up.
What kind of has me concerned is that Mr. Long's pamphlet, so you may, seems to be indicating that there's some new future or destiny that awaits. That's kind of coincides with what you're talking about, George.
Yes.
Andre?
We're talking definitely about the astrological events of January 14th.
There are some other newspaper articles, Sydney, that you've seen. They're not as recent,
Yes.
but you were following for a time. It's not a handout. There was a string of reports of bodies that washed up from the ocean that had their head and arms chopped off.
Yes.
All in a similar fashion. There were 2 of them found, and then later 2 more of them were found in that same way. They're not entirely sure what happened. There was speculation about like a madman was behind it, but the police didn't really go for that kind of theory. There were several people who were mauled to death of their homes. There was a string of those. They seemingly around the city, unconnected. And there was an instance of a ship that was hit by a freak wave off the shores of Grey Dragon Island. And most of the crew were washed overboard. There were only a handful of survivors.
Yes. Yes, I thought that is that of any interest. It's definitely peculiar as I thought. And
All of these are very suspicious.
yes,
Yeah.
it all going by what you guys have been saying, it all just seems to link perfectly with one.
This is
What another.
just what we're looking for, Sid. Good job.
And for your next book, Father, as well.
Thank you. This is sizing up well. I think this is all going to fit nicely.
Yes, and it might be able to tie into my research paper on the area, so it might be.
Deliberate amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. Just
Well,
you have a lot of things to decide on what to follow up on.
how is your Mandarin Chinese?
Relatively good. When I say relatively, my Shang Chinese, it's part of Wu. I've got that. That's quite high, and I can also do Mandarin as well. So
Excellent.
I can pass with Mandarin. I can almost be conversational.
Yeah,
I
I'm fairly.
don't have any Mandarin, but I've got some peaches.
I think Rick understood me pretty good.
Who's
I
Rick?
think that we
Who's
can.
Rick?
We'll be able to.
He's the
manage.
guy who brought us here.
Oh my!
Kind of Rick Shaw. Do you know him?
That's what it's called. It's not the person's name.
That's what they call That's what they call the contraption you came in on, bud.
Yes, not the person.
Oh, the little cart thing.
Yes, that's the Rick Shaw.
That's it. Yeah.
Nehoma.
Well, that's just silly.
Father, I'm just going to quickly go write the letter to my wife and just to let her know how we're getting on, and then I will be back.
Oh, send my love to her and the family.
Yes, I will do. Don't you worry.
I'm thinking if we look at the incidents, if we lay them all out logically, I think we need to be extremely careful.
Mm-hmm.
So I say we investigate the least dangerous sounding one and work our way
Well,
up.
they all sound pretty. they all sound pretty bloody dangerous.
Well, I mean, we
I'd
could go
probably
talk
say
to the
let's,
fortune teller.
Wouldn't that be
So
what
you
they're
want to do
expecting?
that first, and then
We got to do what they're not expecting.
I'd probably say the one that's intriguing me the most is the things crawling out of the water.
It just seems to me, George, that we tend to rush in and everybody dies.
I was
That's a
just
good
going to
point. Are you
ask.
guys armed?
Not
Unfortunately,
currently.
they took all of our arms away from us. We need to be rearmed.
Well,
Luckily, I used all my dynamite on the way over. They didn't take that.
what they did not take from you were those 6 odd cameras.
Oh, good.
Oh.
6 odd cameras.
So Mandrake just opens
Yes.
up. George opens up his luggage. He's got some books in there. Mandrake opens up his luggage. He's got lightning guns.
Sydney has
yes.
returned. He's written his letter, and he's like, so have we decided where we're going, gentlemen?
Well, I was saying that we need to choose the least dangerous first, gather as much information as possible, and then we can go in guns ready. By the way, these are not cameras. We could theoretically prove to you of what's part of the story.
If you fire off one of these things, you're gonna draw a lot of attention.
These are lightning.
Well, then let's
guns.
not do that. Let's not do that where we are.
No need to prove to me or us.
These things shoot bolts of lightning.
Can I just sketch one of them? I just like to.
Yes, it
Yes,
looks just like a camera.
Yes. And
Yes,
then,
please.
Right. So I'm
Actually, I wonder if we could get neck straps so
fully.
we could just wander around and do the tourist thing.
It's not a bad idea.
Mandrake, you want to go talk to the fortune fella, the astrologer?
Yes, I think that seems like the least. I'm not even sure that he can give us information, but he might know
Right.
something about some great conjunction that's coming.
yes. I would also suggest for just a little while, at least until we're all a bit more comfortable until you're all a bit more comfortable, staying together in Shanghai.
Yes.
George, I was curious, or Mandrake, either of you, you mentioned that there's a horrific casualty toll amongst us, your colleagues from the past. What was the primary cause of death, or is there a correlation to any of that?
Well, would you believe me if I told you that magic is real?
I actually don't find that hard to believe. Not with the little I've
I do
seen
not
so
either.
far.
The priests involved with this entity, as I told you before, they have displayed a great deal of power, and it's magical power. They killed 2 of our comrades by, I don't know, bursting blood vessels inside their brains.
God.
I have no defense that I can think of.
How
Some
did
of
they-
them have a kind of a green energy beam that they can fire outward, and it shrivels whatever it touches. A number of us have died in that manner.
How did they learn? Do you know how they learned?
Yes,
these?
there are a number of esoteric books. I myself am a rare book dealer, and there have been a number of forbidden books along the way. Examples would be De Vermis Mysteries, the Necronomicon, Unersprechlichen Kulten, the Narcotic Manuscripts. Some of them contain spells. They are considered to be extremely dangerous books. Often those who read them are in part possessed by them and lose their minds.
Imagine.
It can bring on insanity.
It might do that, and it definitely sounds dangerous of what you're saying, the power these books possess. But imagine the research.
Mandrake.
Imagine.
I mean, Octavius thought that he could harness this power to protect the friends around him, but he suffered greatly for it.
I guess with great reward comes consequences, I guess.
Yeah. Do we have any of these books still? I forget. Or have they all been shipped back to?
You've shipped pretty much all of them back. George took some of the books that were in Houston's study.
Haven't looked at them. No idea what I got.
We do
you have
some
any
volumes here.
Oh, you do? Could I have a look at them?
Well, let me take a look
I
and
don't-
see what they are first.
Yeah, if you don't mind ruffling through my underwear, they're in there.
I'd be fascinated to take a gander.
When I've been on a tour with my father, I've seen worse than some dirty underwear.
Are there dirty underwear in there with the books? I hope not.
No.
She's
Only clean linens for the books. Well, at least the ones that didn't have blood on them.
Are any of them important, Morgan?
So, a lot of them, it's a lot of gibberish. Houston, most of what he wrote doesn't make any sense. Is that kind of...
Yeah. Babbling.
Well, one of the books seems to be more coherent than the other ones, and it's loosely bound, like kind of like a little rudimentary book, and it has a title page that's "The Gods of Reality," written by Dr. Robert Houston.
It's probably worth looking through. I'll tell you right now, the man. If he had cornered the market on hubris, he believed he was going to be made king of the world or some ridiculous nonsense.
King of the world. That's something that you would write, Father. Some madman thinking they were king of the
He
world.
was quite loony, which means that's why he didn't see me coming when I clobbered him rather forcefully with it.
I'm glad you did,
Spare me.
Mandrake.
Well, I would definitely like to read through some of it. Definitely.
Just mind your
Length,
mind.
You think you should be able to get through it in about a day.
Okay.
It's long, but a lot of it is sketches and not all the pages. It's handwritten, and some of it doesn't go all the way to the page, and if he's like, sometimes he's written stuff and then he's wrote so many notes in his own margins that you can't really, it all bleeds together. So
What's the library like here in Shanghai? I'm asking Sydney. I'm sure you would know, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, sorry, I got excited by the fact I get to read through this and take more notes, and yes, the library is pretty good. Fairly fascinating. Yeah, and just speaking to the locals, I've also found they have a lot of good knowledge. More than some have more knowledge than the libraries, which is fascinating.
It's also very likely that there's some connection here. There was stuff being shipped from one country to another by these cultists. I can't remember if we have a reference to someplace here in Shanghai.
you do not.
Look through my notes. One of the places, the original place, this is before I joined on, was the Juju House in New York, which dealt in occult artifacts. I'm sure there must be places here in Shanghai that deal in occult artifacts, perhaps more than usual.
Oh yeah, probably, but you also need to be careful because most likely there's some people claiming that, oh, these are some fascinating artifacts, yet they probably made them in their back
No.
room. So.
I'm also wondering if there are any, by chance, rare books. Perhaps we'll get lucky and find something like a copy of Unersprechlichen Kulten or
something like that.
Sydney, since you've been doing
possible.
research, Sydney and Sterling, you've been here for a bit. A lot of these kind of books that you're looking for are going to be in the hands of private collectors around here. The best place to go to start trying to find anything like that would be the Shanghai Museum.
Yes, I think my father would agree, but a good place to start, especially, yes, we might go to libraries or whatever, but going to the museum, there are some, if you're looking for sacred texts, the richer folk would have.
We need to be
another thing worth mentioning. There's not really public libraries.
Okay.
Hereabouts.
We have to be careful because in the last few places, these evil wizards have used their powers to get rich. So sometimes the rich who have the books are the very ones that we need to avoid.
Yes, well, maybe in that case, actually learning who they could be,
Exactly.
we can then avoid.
Yes.
But museum would be a good start.
Just
but
have a good lie ready to tell.
Yes. I'm going to get on with reading through this. I'm more fascinated by getting through these ramblings.
Right.
So.
I would like to pour in whatever other writings there are to get up to speed, find out what this Houston guy knew.
Mr. McCormick, perhaps we could find a way to rearm ourselves. You look like you might be an expert in that field.
I can ask around some of the shadier places, yeah? What you're looking for, something just to stick in.
Well, I just had a
Someone's gun,
.45
pull the
handgun.
Yeah,
I'd like something like that.
sure. Well, I'll go. I can maybe do a little bit of recon and see if I can find anything about some of these incidents that Sydney found in the paper, and see if I can procure some armaments for you and George. I've already done the same for Sydney and Sterling, so they're all stocked up. And once they start reading, they don't really stop until they're finished. So, if you gentlemen want to maybe rest up after your journey, or you're more than welcome to come out with me now.
What time would it be?
Yeah.
Let's say it's about early afternoon.
Okay.
I think I would like to go visit the Astrologer.
I can take you there.
Yeah, might as well. Don't want to waste the day.
I'm going to pretend like I
Sterling,
had a
I'm
dream.
taking the car.
Actually, before we go, let's see. You got any brass fixtures around here?
Oh, yeah.
What do you need brass for?
I was thinking of soldering some rings onto our cameras there, so we could
Oh,
neck strap them and make them look like cameras.
Yeah.
Well, in the
Right
sitting
there.
room, in the front sitting room, there's that little that lamp up on the ceiling. It's got some. Could use that.
Various accoutrements. All right. Morgan.
You're headed to the astrologer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I solder some rings on the sides of the cameras so we can have leather straps on them?
Yeah,
Or
that
the mic
shouldn't.
cameras.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
easy. That's simple enough.
All
to
right.
do.
So me
There we
and
go.
Mandrake are going to the astrologist. George is doing the cameras. Sydney and Sterling are doing research. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll take the car that Sterling's renting. And we'll go to the astrologers.
Mr. Lung.
This is the address here.
Hmm.
All right, so you make your way to this apartment, is what it is, and so you go up these flight of these rickety wooden stairs, and you reach the doorway, and it's painted this bright red. And
Mr. McCormick, I say this to him privately. If I use the word Antwerp, we are in extreme danger.
Right, got it.
all right, so you see the door, it's painted a bright red. You can smell this peach wood, and it is covered with all of these symbols. You can all give me occult rolls.
I have 5, but I'll still roll, but I only have 5 points.
I got a hard pass.
I got a 40. That's a
All right, so you identify all of this, Mandrake, especially since you can read Mandarin. These are symbols that are meant to protect against evil spirits and demons. The peach wood itself is also a ward against demons and spirits. And when you approach the door, you see that there's this little Siamese cat, like mewing at the door. It's like reaching up and like reaching for the handle, and it kind of looks at you and looks back at the door and meows. And
I'll lean forward and knock at the door.
you knock and you wait. And you wait.
And I look down at the cat.
And it looks at you. It meows. It looks at the door. Kind of paws at it.
Is the door
I'll
locked?
reach up and see if it's locked. Yeah.
Yeah.
You start fiddling with the door. You do notice that it is locked, but make listen rolls.
Good at that.
I
got a
didn't hear
19.
anything.
I got a hard pass.
Gabriel, you hear somebody like approaching the door now from inside the building.
Someone's coming.
It swings open, and you see this short man. He's in these very like flowing robes that are covered in that same kind of, they're red. They're covered in those same kind of symbols. In his eye, he kind of his eyebrows go a bit wide. And he says, can I help you?
Greetings, Master Lung. I saw an advertisement. I'm I'm living here in Shanghai, and I was hoping to be able to speak with you about a very disturbing dream that I've had.
Oh, a dream, you say?
Yes.
Oh, please come in. And he swings the door open wider, and you're immediately behind the door. You see there's a curtain.
Okay.
And he kind of walks around it and kind of like watches you.
So I step inside. I say, I've heard from others that you are the man to speak to, that you have knowledge.
Oh, some might say that. And he starts winding his way back down this hallway.
Okay. Is everything in order?
No, what strikes you kind of coming into this place is every bit of furniture is at odd angles. And you see there are all these like screens, like you can kind of see him silhouetted through these paper screens, that they're also all over the place.
They're all over the place.
So he's kind of like winding his way through like this.
Have we ever had a good view of him? Like when he was
when he first showed up in the door, but you could give me occult rolls again.
I mean, yeah, sure. 79. No.
Does it strike me as a purposeful magical arrangement, so to speak?
Did you? So what strike you as Mandrake is there's this belief that
demons travel in straight lines.
Exactly. So his whole house, I mean, what he's wearing, the door, how his house is aligned is anti-evil spirit, anti-demon.
Right. What we would sometimes call nowadays feng shui.
Yeah.
But a more extreme version of it. So I understand it then. Okay.
I just think he's a nutter, probably.
So
I follow.
You follow him in there, and by the time you get through the hallway, he's looking at you, and he starts to sweat just a little bit. And he's like, please, you must cleanse yourself. And he kind of he gestures for you to touch like these amulets and things that he has on the wall, once again with these same symbols on them.
Okay.
And you touch them, and his eyes get wider.
Are my horns showing? No. Do I feel any different?
Nope.
Perhaps. I say to him, you are making sure that I am not an evil spirit. You're perhaps disturbed by the fact that I speak Mandarin, and I'm a white person.
He freaks out just a little bit. And he says, I knew I shouldn't have let you inside. You've been trying to get entrance in my home for days now, you demons.
We've only just arrived. I assure you I'm not a demon. Give me any test.
And he turns and he winds his way through and into this back room. And he says, if you want to prove yourself. And he goes and he kind of pulls these curtains aside, and there's this cabinet. The back of it is all painted. The whole thing is red. And he says, if you're not, then you won't fear stepping into my demon cabinet.
Oh, it's that size of a cabinet, huh? Well, I'll step in. George, you wait outside. Don't let him lock me in because I don't like tightly closed
My
places.
name's Gabriel, but that's okay.
Oh, Gabriel. I thought George was there with me.
Not George's.
Oh, okay, George. Okay, Gabriel. Sorry, I thought the two of you were both there.
I'm working on
Just
my
me and
MC
Achilles.
project.
All right.
Okay, so as you start stepping back, now that you stepped into this room, there's more than just the cabinet in here. It's like surrounded by mirrors. This whole place is set up with mirrors. And the second you step into all those mirrors, he has like this expectant look, like waiting for you to start. He's like
Freaking
his
out
trap
as a
of his
demon.
mirrors.
Right.
And he's like, he's a little baffled again.
Now, do I get the impression, because of my knowledge of the occult, that he's very likely not a bad guy because he's trying to make sure that we're not demons?
Yes, he's gone through a great
Deal of
a great length of trouble.
All right, so I do any tests that he needs. I show him my hands.
All right, so you start showing him his hands. Gabriel, Achilles starts getting low to the ground.
We brought the dog with us.
Oh, heck yeah. Okay, yeah.
And
So what would
he starts this low kind of rumble in his chest.
Mandrake? Something's not
And
right.
he's like, he's perking up.
Something.
And then Achilles starts to whimper and starts to like
boy.
slink
Okay.
backwards towards the door.
Mandrake. Maybe I should stay outside.
Right, I should be perfectly fine.
Just yell if you need anything, okay?
And
Of course.
you hear this massive tear as you see this massive man-sized cat bursts in through one of the paper walls, and it lunges onto Achilles. So you can all give me sanity rolls.
Okay, come on, Achilles.
I got an 11.
I got an 18. I got
I'm
a
fine.
hard pass on my sanity.
All right, if you pass, it's 1d3 Sam.
1d3. Okay. That is a 1. Okay. So that's definitely a surprise attack. So I can't. Unfortunately, poor Achilles cannot dodge. So can he fight back?
You can have him roll a fight back.
Okay.
That's what you want him to do.
I got a 13.
Yeah, so
which is
Achilles
a-
chomps his jaws right onto this thing's neck and presses with his teeth, and nothing happens.
Does it let go of him?
Nope. And it sinks its claws into him.
Well, I'm jumping on the cat then to get it off my dog. Not necessarily to kill it, but just to remove it from my dog.
So
I didn't-
Achilles screams in pain as this thing like bites into its shoulder.
Yeah.
And so Achilles he's lost use of that leg for a time, so he's on the ground, he's whimpering,
Yeah.
and this thing kind of is now trying to leap past you to make its way over to where Mandrake is, next to the man. What would you like to do?
So in the time that it would have been scuffling with Achilles, I would have brought up my shotgun.
All right.
And I'm aiming for its head. And if it's jumping, I was between Mandrake and the thing, so yeah.
I turn to Mr. Lung and I say, what's the meaning of this?
That is a 16, and I will spend the 2 luck to make that an extreme, which is max damage. Point blank rage is 4d6.
Okay, so that's
max damage.
You fire into it point blank. Nothing happens, and it jumps past you. And this guy is screaming. He's screaming. He says, "I knew I shouldn't have let you demons in here."
Oh, that guy's screaming. Okay, I was like, okay, yeah, sweet, all right. I'm gonna then go to Achilles to try and, if it's gone past me, yeah.
Is there something I can do based on my knowledge of the occult that would prove to him that I couldn't possibly be a demon?
I mean, you're seeking through this, and you see this thing tries to like leap into this room, and it comes into the room. Feels like it has to push its way. It's like kind of weighed down now that it's surrounded by all the mirrors, and it pounces on him. Not on you, but it pounces on the old man.
Ah, it's not something he's conjured. If I notice that it's actually going for him, I will try and get between him and the thing.
All right, so you're trying to, okay. So you get in this thing's way, and it kind of hisses at you. And it's going to try to swipe at you with its claws.
Okay. I will try and dodge. I do not dodge.
Hey, Morgan, sorry, did Achilles have a major wound? Or do I need to do first aid?
Achilles is severely wounded.
Okay, so I need to do first aid?
Yep.
Okay.
You're going to take 6 points of damage, Mandrake, as this thing knocks you aside.
Okay, so I've stabilized Achilles. I got 25 out of 50 on first aid, so I've stabilized him.
Okay, so you've wrapped his shoulder up and...
Yeah. Once I've done that and I'm sufficient that he's going to be okay, I'll go in to help Mandrake.
No, anything.
All right, so as it swipes Mandrake aside, it goes and it knocks this guy down to the ground and goes to tear his throat out.
When you say nothing's affecting this, like, so the shot might...
You fired it into it, and all the pellets went scattering elsewhere. Like it.
Oh, they bounced off it. Okay, all right.
Yeah, like...
All right. Okay, so it's physically hitting. It's not going... Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems to be. And you saw Achilles bite. It's a big dog, and he just bit right down on its neck, and it did not.
Yeah,
nothing happened.
I was just trying to... So, like, I'm seeing the indents of the thing, but it's, like, kind of ricocheting off type stuff. So it's like
it's like you never even scratched. It's like you never even scratched it. Like,
okay, cool.
I'm going to grab the symbols. I suppose that maybe they're hung on silk cords or something. I'll snatch those and I'll run over and try to hit the thing with them.
Okay, give me a power roll.
Nice, Tom.
I got a 48 out of 75.
All right, so you slam these symbols down, and this thing screams and bolts for the door.
I sort of chase after it a bit with the things in my hands.
Yeah, so you chase it around, and the door's closed, it like scrambles out and it jumps through a window. You hear the glass shatter and it's gone.
Mr. Lung, are you okay? And I come over and I'll do first aid on him.
Okay, yes, give me that roll.
Where's my first aid?
Reloading my shotgun and watching the door, making sure it doesn't come back.
Yes, I got a regular pass.
Okay, so you bandage him. You bandage his shoulder. And he's like, "Thank you. You've saved me. I knew something was stalking me."
There's a place to get him, a place for him to sit down. I mean, he's on the ground, but I'll pick him up and.
Ooh, that's
Hey, Mandrake, Antwerp.
I think that now we might be in a better place, but your dog's been injured.
Yeah, well, I've patched him up. He's going to be okay, but yeah, no, that's whatever that thing was. I got a point blank in the face, Mandrake.
Yes. That's the kind of thing that we're up against, Mr. McCormick.
We should have brought one of your cameras.
Yes.
I
didn't think it would happen so quickly. Something is after you, Mr. Lung. Do you know why?
Oh, it could be any number of people. I knew somebody had conjured something up after me.
You said in your flyer that the stars are right again. Is there a terrible conjunction coming up? Something bad?
And he takes your information, so he's going to read your kind of your star charts.
Okay.
And he goes a little pale. He's like, I'm grateful that you've come to save me, but you should be far more worried for your own future.
Oh, we are. I'm worried about the future of us all.
Great things. These great this things that you've been progressing towards are going to come quickly to fruition. Things are falling into place. Everything is these convergings of energies and negative influences and demons seem to be all things will converge for you.
I think that I trust him. So I think I'm going to tell him at least part of our story and why we're here in Shanghai. And that if he can help us, are there any weird cults, any evil shaman? I mentioned some of the things in the newspaper that might be related. And I also mentioned January 14th.
January 14th doesn't really like you say this stuff to him, but he kind of says that that Shanghai is a dangerous place. All there are countless factions, bloody conflicts, riots, all manner of things, and the occult is widespread. So any one group could use. That's why he said he's going to tell you who sent the demon after him, because it could be any number of people. He says there are all manner of secret societies and gangs, nationalist groups, communist groups, all vying for control of the city. So there's not.
If I was to ask you, aside from the political gain people and the power-hungry mongrels, is there a group that you think would be creating chaos just for the sake of creating chaos?
He
Doesn't know.
shrugs as best as he can.
Well,
he
like
says,
he would.
if there is one group,
Well, spit it out, man.
he's really like, and I mean, he's looking around his own home, and he says, the followers of the Bloated Woman.
Bloated Woman.
Sorry, did Mandrake, did you need first aid?
Oh, well, I'll be all right.
Yeah, don't be a hero. Let me have a look at it, and I'll do some quick first aid on Mandrake if he need. He took some damage, eh?
Yeah, I took 5 points.
I'll do first aid on him while he talks to the guy. And I got a 13.
So I get a point
Which
back.
is a hard. You get a point back. I see what you were saying though about keeping the group together though. It makes sense now.
Do you have any idea who sent this thing at you?
Why?
He says, if anything, it was my bitter rival, Li Chao, another local astrologer. I'm sure he sent this after me. He wants my business. He wants my clientele.
And you think he'd be so ruthless as to send a cat demon to attack you?
I wouldn't put it past him.
Well, thank you very much. Is there anything we can get from you? Anybody we can call? Anybody we can send your way?
No, I'll be quite all right.
All right. Well, here, wear this around your neck.
Oh, Mandrake, I just realised that was the cat.
Cat.
The one that was at the front door.
Was it? How very strange. Let's go.
All right, so you return to the others?
Yeah. The cat was at the front door trying to get in.
Yeah, and Achilles is limping along with you, but he's
he's
pretty
got a limp.
hurt.
Yeah.
He's a
I'll
good
help him
boy.
get it out. I'll help Achilles get in the back seat and then drive me and Turtleton back to the French Quarter.
All
All right,
right,
as you're driving back, you hear a great deal of shouting as you drive past a swarm of people screaming. Some of them are holding signs and banners, and they are clashing with the police.
some sort of
Clubs are being
riot.
thrown around, shots are being fired.
Jesus.
All hell is breaking loose. And so it takes you have to drive.
It looks like some sort of a riot. What is there anything written on the signs?
There's all manner of things written on the signs.
Does it look like a labor dispute or?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a labor dispute.
Oh. Right. Well, it's forcing us to go the long way round.
Yeah, let's get Achilles back. He needs a rest now. See if we can buy him some steak or something.
Yeah, Sydney had some Wagyu in the fridge he was saving.
I'm not sure Wagyu existed.
You can both give me spot hiddens.
Pass by like 3 points.
Regular pass. 71.
As you're driving, it's still raining. As you're you have to go around. You pass like this cafe that has a kind of a covered roof, so people are kind of sitting under there. They're eating. And you see that there is this young woman in this beautiful oriental dress that seems to be smiling at you as you drive by. She looks to be American. Her hair is kind of pulled back as you drive on by.
Blonde, brunette, redhead.
Brunette.
Is it Hypatia Masters?
Thinking back on pictures that you've seen of the Carlisle expedition, yeah. It looks an awful bit like Hypatia Masters.
I sort of kind of stopped the car like a little bit. Did you just see what I saw, Turtles?
Was that Hypatia Masters?
And then I start the car and I start going even faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get the hell out of Dodge. Yeah.
Dear God. And the actual avatar of Nyarlathotep. Right there.
I think this shit has well and truly hit the fan, Turtleton.
Well, if you didn't believe us before, you probably do now.
I believed you.
Hopefully we won't have to get Sterling and Sydney to believe us as well. Hopefully they just come along for the ride. But
from what I know of those two, they
I wonder how they're doing.
Almost too willing to believe.
I wonder how they're doing.
Scene change.
So, meanwhile, you guys are poring over that book. Is you back at the house?
Yes.
So this book very casually explains, almost in a very offhanded manner, just as it's obvious. It's almost like he's writing that like the sky is blue, and things like that. But he just casually explains that the universe is ruled by this sleeping idiot god at the center of the universe, and that we are all but his dream. There are things far more powerful than humanity could ever hope to be, that rule everything, and that one day he will be the king over the cleaned off earth when they bring back the old ones. So you who are reading the text, you can lose 1d6 sanity.
Fuck off.
Oh, Jesus.
No, fuck off.
Oh, no, that's funny. Oh, God.
Fucking read.
They both get red mist and kill George.
No.
So you can give me an intelligence roll.
Great.
No, why? How do I do this one? 87. That's a fail.
Oh, this is the weirdest book you've ever read.
Fail by 9.
So you both avoid freaking out over reading a book. You manage to remind yourself it's just a book. Like whoever wrote this was disturbed. This can't really be real. You can also gain 1d4 Cthulhu mythos.
Oh, just one. I just gained one.
And you can also gain 1d6 in the language Yithian.
Jeez.
That's a nice 4 points.
So Mandrake and Gabriel, you return to a very pale-looking pair of Edwards.
Well, you've been reading it.
This is this man was very, very disturbed, but we had to keep remembering this man was disturbed because any sane person would go insane reading this. Jeez.
He was most definitely disturbed, but a great deal of what he wrote has some truth to it, which is very frightening.
Yes.
Anyway, Sydney,
I feel like I learned.
Move some of your paperwork. I need to put Achilles down. He's injured.
Oh, what happened?
Oh
to
my
the
God!
boy?
What happened to the dog?
I'll go make
we
some
were
tea.
We were attacked by a giant cat person.
We've got some meat in the.
Yes, I'll go get it.
Yeah,
I'll go get
freezer
it.
box.
I'll go get some tea on, and I'll go get the meat as I go
Yeah.
writing my notes on the way.
Where is George? What is he doing?
I think he's in the lounge in the entrance room, working on some soldering or something.
With George, we've encountered our first Chinese demon.
What?
We were attacked. You see?
Are you all right?
Well, we fight fire with fire. We use Chinese magic to fight the Chinese demon. But we're okay. The dog was injured.
Oh, that's too bad.
And the
it's already
other bad
started.
thing, Hypatia Masters is here, or the Avatar.
Hypatia Masters
We saw
live?
her.
That one lady?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's here. Well,
yeah.
lady is a loose term.
The thing that was born.
But wasn't she lost in that expedition?
Yeah, well, that was the whole story.
I saw her rupture and
Yeah.
spawn something heinous
Now we
at the top of a mountain in Kenya.
we spend an hour explaining to Sterling and Sydney
And
the next part of the story.
Yeah.
Before you start doing it, I come back in and just, what was I meant to be getting in the kitchen again?
You're getting the meat for the dog.
Meat and tea, yes.
Not meat in the tea.
No, that. Do you know what? I'll do it. I'll
You could take pieces of paper. You could cut them into little pieces, symmetrical, glue them together at one end, and make little notes and stick them.
So we spend the rest of the night. They spend the rest of the night explaining everything that's happened to me, Sydney, and Sterling. So how much sanity do we lose from hearing all of the crap?
Well, this is nothing. I mean, after Sydney and Sterling have spent their day reading that horrible book, they're already a little. They're fine, but Gabriel, I mean, you're reflecting on today. This cat demon almost killed your dog. You shot it point blank with the shotgun. It didn't do anything, and now you see Hypatia Masters alive and well in the streets. So you couldn't this revelation of all these things that your brother was talking about, all becoming very real.
We have to be extremely careful. She is not Hypatia Masters. She is
That was a fail on my sanity.
It's I think it is more appropriate at this point. But whatever it is very capable of changing shape, and
it might also be capable of hearing us.
But you're not kidding, Mandrake. We do need to be careful. You look pretty injured yourself. We should get you to a doctor.
It's just a flesh wound.
Now we need to go back to what I said previously before you two went to see the man, is we need to stick together here in Shanghai.
I tend to agree.
Yes. This is all... If you're saying that Hypatia Masters here, all of that jazz, all the stuff you had with the dog and everything, yes, we need to be on high alert, definitely. And Father, stop drinking. This is not the time to be drinking.
Just a little.
No, because we need you at full brain power, Father.
All right, I'll stop drinking out of the bottle.
And Gabriel. I just double checked. make sure. Yeah, your Achilles was left with 1 hit point left.
Oh,
Like, this
God.
thing-
12 points of damage. Fuck.
Achilles needs to stay
he's-
here and rest.
We need a vet.
So he's
he's-
got 2 now. He's got 2.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
in. When this thing bit into him,
Dear God.
You say the dog's in rough shape.
In that case, I'd probably have to take him off to a veterinary clinic of something.
Such a thing even exists.
That's what I'm saying. Was there legitimately a thing, or is it just more likely I'm just going to have to?
Probably just have to.
yeah, pet ownership is not common enough in Shanghai for
Yeah,
it to
okay.
be.
Cool. So I'll just have to make sure I'll keep checking the wound and cleaning it and making sure it doesn't get infected and stuff. Just doing normal first aid on it.
Yes, going by. I have come across some of my research, some techniques with animals, so I could have a look at him. I'm not. But
So we have one lead. A cult called the Bloated Woman.
the bloated woman.
Does it sound familiar? Any research papers on that?
Let me have a look through all my notes and see. I've made lots of notes, so it might take me some while to
So
put that name.
That's right.
the bloated woman, Sydney, is not familiar to you. It is not a standard Chinese occult thing.
No information at all.
Might it have been something we heard of chatting with Jackson back in New York?
Well, it could be, but it's definitely nothing cultural to the area, nothing historical, nothing to do with the occult here. It doesn't, well, not in what I understand, anyway.
The name reminds me of some of those Neolithic stone figurines, that have been found that just sort of have a shape of a very fat woman. Fertility.
I remember Frederick showing me some images of something like that. Of course, he also told me that the way archaeology works is when in doubt, it's a fertility symbol. So
That's often the case.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we need to watch out for.
Now, did you say that Hypatia saw you, or you just saw her?
You seem to be staring right at us.
Yes,
If
which
she
means-
is a spirit of him, then the jig may already be up for us all.
We've also got to look into this. What was his name? Li Chao, the astrologer that the other astrologer
Rival
reckoned-
astrologer.
Yeah.
Well, we stick together from now on, you hear me? We don't want dear old Achilles getting killed. We don't want any of you. We don't want any more death. There could be more death, but we don't want any. So we need to
Yeah, I
be
think
careful.
from future reference, me and Achilles will probably stay in the car when we go places.
Yes.
Now that I know Hypatia knows we're here and where we are, I don't want to leave Achilles at the house by himself.
High alert. If we have someone on the car watching, let's just hope they can't flip the car or something like that, because then you're screwed, Gabriel.
Well, George, have you been able to get some of those cameras rigged up to kind of go around our necks?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Here, and I've got little brass rings soldered on the sides.
Oh, this is fantastic.
And maybe some little filigree work.
I show them how to work, but I tell them
The rest
to be
of the
very
wiring,
careful.
just to make them look more camera-y.
All right, this
And you
is,
just point the thing and treat it like a can.
Yeah, so you will get 10 points in the skill lightning gun. Those of you who were not instructed.
Cool.
Okay.
Mandrake and George should already have some. You should have 30 that you were.
Yep.
Yeah. Plus the fact that I'm linked in.
Now, are we going off the rule that if you've got your standard handgun or your shotgun over 50, you have enough knowledge on firearms in general that you get a plus 10?
Yeah, this is not a firearm. It doesn't.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's not
It's
wielding
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's
Sure, fair enough. Yep.
This is all fascinating. Research. That's what it all comes down to. It's fascinating research into this occult.
Do we
It's fascinating.
do we want to take turns keeping watch tonight, gents?
Yes, but don't let my father do it because he will just drink himself into a deep sleep and won't actually get any watching done.
No. It's good. It keeps my cough down.
No, you are going to rest. You will need it, Father. I will keep first watch.
All right, wake me in 2 hours then, Sydney, and I'll take the second.
Yes, I will wake him in 3 hours because I will forget to wake him and stay awake an extra hour.
all right. So you guys spend the night, and you kind of cycle through. The night, and it's now the morning of July 6th. That's a Monday.
Okay.
Oh, we missed the fireworks.
How is Achilles doing this morning? Is he still stable? He's okay?
Yeah, he's.
Yep.
He kind of just.
He's obviously not going to bounce back, but yeah.
Yeah,
not
he's-
dying,
he's-
is what I'm
Yeah, he's not gonna die.
Yeah.
But he's.
All right.
You'll be. I mean, he can't really move around all that well.
Yeah.
When he walks, I mean, he kind of keeps that one paw kind of up in the air and kind of limps along.
Is it one of the front paws or the back one?
One of the front paws, like right here on his shoulder, was
Yeah.
crushed in.
God, must have a massive jaw.
I wonder.
The thing was in part completely ephemeral. The bullets did nothing to it.
Yeah, that is very. I mean, I shot
Really?
the thing point blank range in the face with my shotgun.
Was not a normal thing.
What's your shotgun loaded with?
Normal shotgun bullets. I ain't using no fucking salt rounds. It's like preschool.
Bird
What's our
shot,
agenda for today?
buckshot,
To do?
slug.
Slug. If it had been a normal creature, would have put a fucking hole in its head, mate. There'd be no head.
That's insane.
So, what do we do today?
Well,
Do you want to do we want to go? What about to the was it the Tiger, the one on Lansing Street?
The bar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not in the
The
morning.
Stumbling
There won't
Tiger
be
bar.
anybody there. Yeah.
Well,
we have
probably a good
several.
time to go then.
We have several locations to
There's also
Go
museums.
to.
Yeah.
we
The
could.
museum sounds good to me.
The museum could be a good start for today, and then we work
sounds-
towards the other locations later on.
Yeah.
I thought we were
museum
going
sounds
towards this.
safer.
I thought we were going towards the safest one yesterday, and we ended up getting attacked.
The museum has to be safe. It's a museum.
Oh, and then I tell them the story of the museum.
Okay, maybe I was false in that assumption. I do apologize. We will be cautious in the museum.
Well, you
I'll wait in the
are
car.
right in thinking museums are a little bit more difficult to set up a bloodbath in. One would hope.
Just,
More prying
just make
eyes.
sure you're.
Well, it's not like we're fiddling with any of that Sumerian stuff from the British Museum. We could have a
Like I
bloodbath
said,
there.
I'll wait in the car with Achilles. If there's any trouble.
All right.
Okay, so you head over to the museum.
We're all going.
Yeah, Gabriel waits in the car.
Before we go in, is there like checkpoints where would they prevent us from taking in cameras?
To a museum. We should probably expect it.
I'm
Okay.
I'm a
Yeah, if they're
I'm a-
if they're not going to let us take in cameras, then I'm just going to leave. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
they
have all
asked
of
you-
us. Yeah, I'm going to have all of them. Everyone leave the cameras in the car.
I'm a good driver if you want me to drive you over there.
Sterling is
Well-
so drunk he doesn't realize you already are there.
Well-
so-
well-
Does he ever stop?
We're already there, Father.
It's okay,
made it.
Sterling. I'll take care of driving. It's fine.
No, Gabriel already drove us. It's the morning,
All
Father.
right.
Okay.
So going going to the museum, you can, they let you in. What would you like to do? There's a desk, there's, where you can go look around at all the items that they have.
Let's call it research. First of all, I'm going to look for anything called the Bloated Woman. Statue of some sort.
Bloated Woman exhibit.
All right, so you're looking around. You make your way to kind of this Chinese occult history section of the museum. And the only thing that you can kind of find there is you find this small little statuette, maybe about a foot tall,
Mhm.
made out of a soft metal, that depicts this, but kind of calls your mind a bloated woman. This very grotesque-looking thing that's head has been severed and that doesn't have arms.
Very strange.
And there's the little plaque. Kind of explaining what it is it's an artifact of unknown origin or date of manufacture, or when it was carved is unknown. They roughly guess that it's from around 2000 BC.
Really old. What's the security in this place look like?
Yes, there is armed security everywhere. It's almost like they have a small army patrolling this place.
Based on their hours, if I were going to try and break into here, and I'm not going to say that I am, to steal this thing, does it look possible or does it look insanely impossible?
The practice of all these private organizations and private individuals hiring like literally personal armies is not uncommon, given the instability of Shanghai at this time. It would be like trying to storm a fortress almost. Like there's so much valuable things in here that it's
Even in the middle of the night. Okay.
even in the middle of the night.
All right.
There will be lots of armed people here.
I should have practiced teleportation. All right. What else? Not exactly sure what we should be looking for here. What do you guys think? Any information that leads us?
Is there any physical resemblance between the Bloated Woman statuette and what Hypatia resembled or looked like at the mountain? Okay. Because details are a little fuzzy.
When she was pregnant.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, there's not. So, because this, I mean,
She was
for the most
more.
part,
She
this
was more
thing's-
like
it's this very
maggot-like,
standing
right?
tall. It's like Hypatia Masters, like her lower, like her legs had fused together.
Right.
So it was like she was mostly just this massive, like,
Yeah.
growth essentially, and not like not bloated.
Yeah, I just wanted to clear that up.
But yeah, the longer you look at this little statuette, just the more it creeps under your skin. You can all give these sanity rolls.
Yes.
07.
Ooh,
That is
002.
that's a fail, because I rolled 83.
You beat me. I got to fail too.
All right, just 1 point if you fail. That's just a little.
Is
Creepy.
there any other exhibit that has any correlation to this sort of end of the world sort of anything that is along the lines of the stories from George and Mandrake? Is there any correlating story?
There is not a section of the museum labeled signs of the impending doom of the world, if that's what you're asking.
Well, just be like overlooking like the general gist of the stories. Okay.
So while I'm here, I would
this little
like
statuette is the one thing that you found, like
Harold.
looking through everything.
Yeah, so I'm trying to look for the names of some of the richer folk who would be in possession of the
Books.
books and stuff. So
How are you going about doing that?
I would probably start with speaking to
To a
one of the-
curator?
Yeah.
All right, so you ran into a Mr. Mao,
Just now, yes.
and he happily gives you a list of scholarly types that would have, these kind of, if you're looking into the, the history of Chinese religion and the occult, he gives you a list of 34 names.
Oof.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, we have 6 months.
Yes, any from
Three
the
of them,
list.
you look at the list, and for some of these people, like some of them are in Hong Kong. Like they are scattered all over the place. You see 3 of them are listed as being in Shanghai.
What are their names?
Mr. Chang Ning, Madam Lin Yen Wu, and Mr. Mu Hassin. As I continue,
Yes.
and will continue to butcher all these pronunciations, I apologize to everybody.
Yes. No, this is very interesting. I doubt it, just a quick glance at the 34 from the stories Mandrake have said any names to ring a bell or just out of curiosity. Yeah, okay, cool.
And none of those names jump out.
Okay. I will take the list, but I will show the others. I'll point out the 3 that are in Shanghai. Other than these 3, a lot of them were scattered. So if we wanted to look into texts or avoid people, these are the 3 to avoid in this local area. Or gain information from.
Yeah. 3 in Shanghai. That's a start. I'm curious. That bizarre little statue. In the little placard. In the placard, does it say who it's on loan from or the owner of it at the museum?
And Mr. Mao will happily tell you that artifact was discovered while people were working near the ocean.
Interesting.
So it belongs to the museum itself. It's not on loan from anybody.
Okay. Roughly when did that occur? Is this a recent discovery?
A few years ago, it was discovered. Just on it was on it had washed up on an unpopulated island. A boat stopped there to wait out a storm, and that had washed up on shore, and they brought it back and sold it to us.
Interesting.
This was a few years ago, mind you.
Huh. Thank you for being so helpful.
Oh, of course, it's my job.
Yeah, well, but you have to get a bit of gratitude. Not everyone may give you some gratitude for the work you do, and I commend you.
Oh,
I am speaking in what? Yeah, in Mandarin. Or
if I may interject, is there any lore connected with this figurine?
Not that again, these scholars that I pointed you to would know more about the artifact than I do. I'm sure there's plenty of scholarship on it, but it's just such a small part of our museum, so obscure. Nobody inquires after it, so it's just something I apologize. I don't know myself.
Can I do a psychology roll on him to see if
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, 007 again.
He's being completely honest. He doesn't know what the statue is. It's as mysterious to him as it is to you, and he doesn't know anything about it.
All right, cool. I don't know what to ask or what to do. It's a bumpy beginning to this adventure. Well, is there anything else, folks, here at the museum?
Not that I can think of.
What should we do next, then? Dim sum?
Dim sum what?
No. You're in for a treat.
Oh, is that kind of food?
Yes, it is. Do you like seafood?
Sure. Mandrake, you've seen me fishing.
Mm.
Right, so what is it that you're doing next? You go, you have lunch.
Did you ask the curator if he knew of any connection with the bodies washing up? And because they had their head and arms removed too, right?
That's true.
Kind of like the statue.
I didn't even think of the question.
Well, I was too busy looking for, how little English there was on those placards. I sure spent a lot of time looking around elsewhere. Not a whole lot in their terms for our purposes.
Now that you point that out, that certainly makes me think that we might be on the right track. Those three names that you were given, those are probably the most dangerous names, but they're probably also names that might lead us to some more information.
Yes, that's what they might be dangerous, but they lead to information, so we could pay one of them a visit, or maybe all three of them, or at least maybe find out a bit more about them or what they do.
Let's find out more about them before we go in.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So preliminaries. Asking around, trying to find some things. Mr. Cheng Ning he's kind of an elderly scholar. He lives in a small little house close to the museum.
That's
Madam Lin Yan Yu is a wealthy businesswoman.
that sounds scary.
And Mr. Mu Hassin was formerly worked as a curator at the museum.
That sounds scary. Maybe the first guy who lives in a little house near the museum.
No, because he's probably the scariest of
No, because so far the power-hungry hubris of all of these bad guys has been really apparent.
Yes, but this could it could all flip. It's like a story that could be a.
It could if it was a random story, but I think they're all
You thinking these bad
power-hungry.
guys use reverse psychology?
I
No,
think they're
well-
power-hungry.
However, I would like to speak to this elderly scholar because if he is a scholar, he will probably have more information
And was
and
that
be more
Miss-
useful.
Was that Mr. Lin?
Ning. Chang Ning.
Ning. Cheng Ning, yes.
Chang Ning.
Yes. Chang. Yes.
Okay.
And he's not that far from the museum, so
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
What story do we use?
Well, I'm a researcher.
You're
so-
researching. And why are there five people with your four other people?
Well, my father's an author, and maybe we could just say that we're all a group of researchers.
Why don't you and your father go in, and we'll
And
stay
you for
out
me.
with Gabriel in the car and the dog.
Yeah, just stay close.
Unless
because
George
we
wants
learned-
to go in with you.
Yeah, stay close.
I'm not sure I could keep up the
George,
scholarly research moniker thing.
maybe Mandrake, you come in because you can speak a bit of Mandarin, yes?
I could, but I think we're going to overwhelm them. Well, perhaps. All right, the three of us. Then.
Because three people who at least speak the local language,
Yeah.
he might be a bit more friendly with us, and because it means that we're willing to. We're actually doing research here because we've been willing to learn the language.
So we need to be careful. We need to look for the signs. Danger.
Yes.
Agree.
Do we have a code word to say in danger?
Antwerp.
Antwerp. Let me write this down.
And
But you could say something along the lines of, when I was a child back in Antwerp,
Yes, yes.
Then-
Okay.
we'll all know that we're in extreme danger.
Yes, okay. Okay, that is good to know. Well, let's go see this elderly man and hope for the best.
So you go, you find his little house. It's packed. It is crammed. As I kind of describe the city a little bit. I mean, it's a little wooden building that's kind of smack in the middle of all these sprawling, haphazard size things. And you go, you knock on the door, and he comes to greet you. He's dressed in a suit. And he says, hello.
Hello, Mr. Chening, is it? Yes.
Yes.
You are. Yes. So I'm a researcher. This is my friend. I am Sydney Edwards, and it's my father, Sterling Edwards, and our workmate, Mandrake Turtleton. We are
Hey, Omar.
researchers, and we are doing research into like local legends and the occult in the local area, all for a research paper based on ancient China and all that jazz.
Oh, how interesting. Please do come in.
Yes, thank you.
And this front, I mean, the door opens right up into the front room of his home that is stacked pretty much floor to ceiling with books.
Yes, okay.
Books, scrolls, papers.
Oh, you.
There's a desk that is just, I mean, it's also just stacked with books, and looks like you've interrupted him in the middle of him writing.
You have a vast collection here.
Yes,
Impressed.
yes, it is my pride and joy. Hopefully, I can answer your questions quickly. I do not like to take too much time away from my research.
There's
so much to be done and to learn, and only so much time.
Yes, I know the feeling. I find myself wrapped in research all the time, and time loses its way with me sometimes.
I'm looking around everything for anything suspicious.
So
Take a spot hidden.
So also, what I really want to know is, do you know of? I've heard there are some strange, like, occult books.
You don't see anything, Tom.
Uh-uh.
How does it feel?
That's good to know. No, it's very good to know.
All right. So
strange books, like red look esoteric books, maybe into some of the more unusual Chinese mythology.
Well, that's a very one academic to another. That's a very broad subject for a research paper. Do you have any thoughts of narrowing that down?
Oh, we are. Don't worry. We're all doing it
about the statue.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, we went to the museum and we saw that strange statue. Do you know much about it at all?
Yes. We cannot be quite sure, but I personally believe that it is an old effigy from the Order of the Bloated Woman.
Can I do a psychology to see if he's like freaking out?
Sure.
The Order of the... Actually, that brings me to another point. So, we've heard of this name, the Bloated Woman, but I don't recall it in any books or occult knowledge that I've looked in.
It is an uncommon thing, very obscure corner of academic circles. It is one of the darkest and most secretive societies in all of China, at least at the time it existed, of course. There's no reason to think that it exists today.
What period? Because yes. Father, yes. Father, what did you want to?
When he was mentioning the Order of the Bloated Woman, did he seem to light up with pride or
He's definitely, he seems charmed to share his bit of knowledge that he has. So he starts explaining how, like, this order was reported to worship some dark god that was feared through the coastal regions throughout China, had some sort of watery servants that it employed. Supposedly, pirates took orders from the order, but they're reported to wield powerful magic to curse and kill anyone that got in their way.
Wow.
But, I mean, very little is known about them. Not a whole lot of records are extant.
I was about to ask, is there any records or anything of them that you know of, or anyone in possession of records, even scraps?
No, with my humble earnings, I could not afford such texts. However, there was a local collector who was most kind and generous with sharing knowledge, Madame Lin Yen Wu.
She was actually suggested to me as someone else to seek knowledge from, so that is good to hear that you see her in high regard as well. For knowledge.
Yes, very well learned. Very an extensive collection. Most interesting for conversation.
That is intriguing indeed. Thank you for your help, Mandrake Sterling. Well, Mandrake Father, do we have any other questions for the kind man?
Have you heard perhaps of a recent incident in the newspapers where there were many people citing
I'm
creatures?
sorry, I don't trouble myself with current affairs.
Oh, okay.
Somebody trying to keep up with everything that happens in the city will drive themselves insane.
Fair point.
He keeps to his research, Father.
Yeah, very.
Yes, you keep your nose in books and you won't find yourself in any trouble.
That's a good thing.
I can't think of anything else. Perhaps would it be all right if we came back and visited you if we need more information?
Oh, if you see fit, I will be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, good luck on your paper.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we will definitely need it.
And he goes back to writing.
What an interesting man, Father.
Very interesting.
I show Father a sketch I made of the man. I would have sketched him and written a few notes.
He seemed fairly normal.
That's very good, Sid.
So what about the rich woman?
Yes, that is my concern. Going by what this man has said, she is very influential in the terms of knowledge. So
I suppose rich doesn't necessarily make you evil.
No, but
it's just following a pattern. We need to be careful.
If she's in possession of scraps of paper or whatever linked to the Bloated Woman, the cult of the Bloated Woman, then we can assume that she may have a loose tie or at least an interest into that cult.
We need to find something to protect us.
Yeah, I agree. Beyond like these lightning, what was it?
Well, that's a weapon. That doesn't protect us. That allows us to.
What did you use to help against the cat thing?
There were some symbols on the wall hung on silk cords. I think I'd recognize what they look like again if we could find a shop. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe we could pay a visit again to the man.
I don't want to. We brought him danger. I'm sure of it.
Or was he already in danger?
No, I don't know the answer. We need to find something.
But we know that he has a way of protection, and if you want protection, it's.
I'm wondering if we should visit this monastery, the monastery where the literature scholars were killed. I feel safe that if there is ancient wisdom of magic, they might know it.
Yes, that could be fair enough. And best thing, I don't think we should see this woman just yet. I feel like we need to learn more because let's just hope that she's not some evil bitch.
I hope that about anyone. All right. So
but we need to be cautious.
Let's leave here.
All right, so leaving the museum and heading to follow up on the fire that burned down Chinling Road, that is where we will leave it for tonight.
Okay. Not much of a climax, but it's a good spot to break. Our players included Zane Fleming, Brian Daly, Stuart Lively, Josh Harwood, and myself with Morgan Llewellyn as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games. And you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. The link is below. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. You'll find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure in the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good game.